David Eichel here for HawkeyeInsider.com 24/7 Sports. Please be joined by Sean Bach as we continue to preview the Iowa upcoming football season just in Big Ten play. Sean, there's a lot of talk about how dynamic this Iowa offense can be, especially with Spencer Petras coming in at quarterback, Tyler Goodson at running back. But who's the guy that you think maybe not is under the radar, but maybe a guy that had some production but can break through in 2020?
I think I'm going with the most popular answer among Iowa fans and just Iowa media, and that's tight end Sam Laporta. You look at what he did last year, 15 receptions for 188 yards. Really was more used as like a goal line blocking tight end, inline kind of guy to start the season. We were like, okay, like he's going to get snaps. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll just end up, or he'll play 3 or 4 games and end up redshirting. Nope. Played on almost every game, I believe, and really turned it on at the end of the season. I mean, obviously, the Holiday Bowl against USC stands out, 6 receptions, 44 yards. The game against Nebraska, Illinois, and I think Northwestern, if I'm not mistaken, was the game where he really broke out. And I think he really deserves those P.J. Hawkinson kind of comparisons. I mean, I know they're going to be different guys. I don't know if he'll have that trajectory that Hawkinson had, but I think Laporta's on the right track to really be that number one tight end guy that we saw develop at the end of the year. Like we said before, I mean, there's question marks behind him. You got Sean Byer, who battled some injuries the past few years. We haven't seen that tight end production from him yet. Then you got 2 big-time freshmen coming in, Luke Lachey and Elijah Yelbert. And then you also have Josiah Meeman, who I think might be a guy that could come in here and there. So I think just as far as breakout goes, I think Laporta is a guy that can really boost his stats a little bit. Maybe we could see 400, 500 receiving yards, and who knows, maybe 4 or 5 touchdowns from him this year.
And keep in mind, a big part of why Iowa didn't score last year, they had no problem getting the yards, Sean, but there was just lack of red zone targets. That they missed that kind of elite tight end they used to go to. Brandon Smith was out for the last 5 games. I'm going to go a little bit off the radar here, and I want to preface this by saying this. I believe Tyler Goodson's already broken out. He was the leading rusher from last year, so I don't think it's fair to say him. I'm going to go with Coy Cronk, the graduate transfer offensive lineman from Indiana, who I think is probably one of the best under-the-radar gets for Kirk Ferentz for his 2020 season, along with Northern Illinois defensive tackle Jack Heflin. Coy Cronk has 40 starts under his belt, and how do you replace a guy like Tristan Wirfs? It really is next to impossible. He was an athletic phenom, went number 14 in the NFL draft, and is being one of the best rookies, I think, in the NFL right now through 2 weeks and really doing a nice job protecting Tom Brady. But I think Cronk can bring some stability to that offensive line. He brings experience. Now Iowa's got 2 fifth-year seniors still at offensive tackle. And again, I think that he can be a key piece in why Spencer Petras could be a lot more comfortable than your average first-year starting quarterback. So I'd keep an eye on Coy Cronk to have a big impact on this year's team. Stay tuned to HawkeyeInsider.com for all the latest news, scoop, and analysis for your 2020 Iowa Hawkeyes.